Good morning, and hey now, PASW staff, clients, and friends. Welcome to Friday's class. Thank God it's Friday, right? This is our film scoring results for Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey, the 1968 classic film. If it ever comes on a big screen, which it does sometimes, I recommend going to see it. It's just an amazing experience. So this was good. I got in several different results, of course, and that's the point of this. As we looked at, Kubrick used Strauss's music for this very famous scene, and this was a scene of empowerment, right? And Strauss based this on Nietzsche's text. So again, this is super dominance and power over and evolution and change and war and all these things going on without any dialogue being spoken. That's the beauty of music and imagery. And, Kubrick and Strauss are amazing at that. It's too bad Strauss never saw Kubrick's work, because I think he would have... I wonder what he would have thought of. That's something my dad and I always think. Like, later in history, I wonder what the... if Strauss actually saw the Kubrick movie and was like, either you made my music sound better, or what were you thinking? You blew this. It wasn't what I was thinking at all. So anyway, so we kind of talked about the ape using this as a weapon, and a weapon for conflict and change and evolution going on. That was perhaps Kubrick's thesis. So with yours, we get different results. So let's go through them and then talk about how we feel about each of them. So let's start with Mark Pulver's score.
Across the stratosphere, a final message. Give my wife my love, then nothing more. Far beneath the ship, the world is mourning. They don't realize he's alive. No one understands, but Major Tom sees how the light commands. This is my home. I'm coming home. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, coming home. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, coming home. Earth below us, drifting, falling, floating, weightless, coming home.
So that's Major Tom by singer Peter Schilling. Cool 80s song. This doesn't look like war or conflict, right? This is kind of looks like a kind of an exercise video or something, like where a workout thing. Like, it's got a nice driving beat to it. It still gives you the power and momentum, especially and when that famous scene of the ape is going like that. I've fudged some of yours, the pieces that you brought in, just to kind of make it a little bit more epic. So I listened to the song and kind of thought, this is the high point. So I did my own music editing with your pieces just to enhance it, if with all due respect. So I did that with Mark's too. Just when he kind of goes to the chorus and really gets into the chorus, that's when the ape comes down. But Mark, great job. I think it's great. It's a different movie, and that's good. I think some of these things we want to make it different movies. We don't want to be seeing the same movie, and we don't want this to be just the same scene. We want to, spruce it up a little bit. So this definitely doesn't look like Kubrick's movie in a great way. It's in a different way. So great job, Mark. Okay, let's go into Matthew Payne's. So that's Matthew Payne's original score. Matthew, I mean, amazing job. He really has a beginning, right, and then an end to it, just in this minute-long section. And this is, and again, the video looks a little different because Matthew literally imports the video into GarageBand and writes his own score. Here's a clip because Matthew shared it with me. That's what he's working with in his timeline. And so he told me that he used 2 tracks from iMovie, and then he combined them with an original track that he made in GarageBand. And then he used 2 sample choruses from GarageBand and then combined them into 3 different tracks. So look at how much music editing he was doing, composing and music editing. So not only writing the piece, but then taking other pieces and putting them on top, and it sounds beautiful. It's epic. It's a little dissonant too. So it's orchestral and soundtracky, but then it's not just cheesy where it's like, oh, and they won the game at the end and everyone's happy. It's epic in the way that Strauss's is epic. That it's epic, but it doesn't mean that it's a happy ending necessarily or something like that. You know what I mean? I mean, again, this is just my kind of my personal thoughts. But yeah, I mean, Matthew Payne, great job. I mean, not only are you doing the music, the original music, but you're also in encoding it with the video, and that's just super advanced. So great. I'm so proud of all of you guys. It's terrific. Okay, let's go on to Lanzarote Records. So that's Lanzarote Records score. Of course, that's the John Williams famous theme from Superman, 1978. Now, I remember Lanzarote using Star Wars theme for the E.T. film by Spielberg, and that was by John Williams too. So that's great. Lanzarote, you're really hearing the full orchestra, and you're choosing pieces that are, greatest hits of movies that we all know, and John Williams just happened to score most of all of those greatest hit movies, particularly with Spielberg. So this isn't a Spielberg piece, but this is an epic orchestral piece that Kubrick used originally with the Strauss piece, and you're doing it great. So this is a sense of empowerment as well, empowerment of succeeding, overcoming obstacles, doing these these things that are beyond us. I think John Williams' score works beautifully in this scene. It's such an uplifting, great score. And so you reinvigorated the scene. Great job. Great pick. Love that. Okay, let's go on to Christy Chu's score.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark. Under the moonlight, you see a sight that almost stops your heart. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. You start to freeze, and so it looks you right between the eyes. You're paralyzed, 'cause this is daylight night.
So that's Michael Jackson's Thriller, right? Song from the album Thriller. I also did make the song start a little bit later, so when that famous apes, that hand goes with the bone, I kind of did the chorus there just to create excitement, because in film scoring, like we talk about, you can use a piece of music, but also what's more important sometimes are the cues, right? So it's one thing putting a piece of music down here and seeing a visual. You can put it down here and it doesn't mean anything, but if later in the song there's a big spike, that spike should go where the action is sometimes, whether it's the chorus of a song, whether it's well, actually, we're going to hear something after this where there's a good example of a spike. I don't know if they call it that. I'm just saying spike right now, but you know what I mean, like a high point in the score or in the music. So, Christy, great job thinking outside the box. I wouldn't have thought of Michael Jackson in this scene, but I like it. It works really well. It's cool. It surprised me in a great way. I love that. I mean, I love that you guys surprised me. I literally every week have no idea what to expect, and I get something different every time, and usually it's not music that I know at all. So, Christy, thank you. Terrific job. I'm proud of you. Okay, let's go on to Sarah Wright's score. So, Sarah, great choice. That's Joe Blankerberg, a German composer, and who lives in Los Angeles. I didn't know that. Great soundtrack type feel. I love the epic choir in it, the percussion in the choir, that driving force. It puts you in the mood of an adventure kind of film, like of that's in a minor mode. It's not anything like Superman, really. They're both orchestral, but it's not inspiring at all like Superman is, or like some of the other ones, which is good. I mean, again, these are all different things. This is darker. This is more, epic adventure like. So I love that because it's so different. So great job, Sarah. So we have a new film composer joining us, Zuli Johnson. Zuli, thank you for submitting something. Let's take a look at her pick. So that's from the movie Psycho by Bernard Herrmann. We talked about him before, using the strings as a percussive instrument. And Zuli, this fits great. This music will fit anything that is violent and disturbing. And the scene is violent and disturbing. for the most part. So Zuli, that's great that I like how it starts off with nothing and then builds into this screeching string section where, the music's terrifying. So it heightens the intensity of the scene where you're like, oh wow, something is happening that's horrible. It makes you think, that's jolting. So Zuli, I hope you continued to do this. This was a great pick. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to, my dad, Gilbert. So we did a class on Michael Nyman, right? That's Michael Nyman's memorial piece that was written before, but used in the film to cook the thief, his wife, and her lover. But it was originally composed kind of as a death march because there were these people that were trampled at this game in Europe, and it was a terrible story. And he wrote it based on real events that happened. So that's why it's got a disturbing feel to it. This is actually, my dad did this on purpose, where he used that operatic voice, that woman singing right when the skull is crushing. So this is really disturbing. Now we're really feeling this kind of sense of empowerment, but also this sense of this mortal sense that we're kind of mortal beings, and that this is empowering in some sense, but this is a very clear, this is kind of war, good versus evil, and that's what Nietzsche wrote about. Survival of the fittest. We talked about Darwin, about who lives, who dies. So now we're in dark subjects here, existential subjects which are really great. Again, all with no dialogue, just with music and action going on. From good directing. So I love it, Gilbert, Daddy. I mean, that's, as we know, that's one of our favorite pieces. I think it works perfectly because it really shows you just the horrors of violence, because it's a very violent scene if you think of it, and I mean, we could talk about this all day, of course, of just the implications of this scene. But I love the music. Okay, let's go on to my boss, your boss, my friend, your friend, everybody's friend, John Pazes. So that's John's score. That's Frankenstein by the Edgar Winter Group, 1972. Never heard that song. I love it. So there's synthesizers. It's progressive rock, kind of, and electric pianos. I love it. So this is way different than Michael Nyman's piece. This is kind of this got a great drive, and it's kind of like he's using the bones as drumsticks. At least for me, I kind of thought that in a way that's so there's humor in this now. It's cool humor though. It's not like a joke. It's more just like, oh, that's he's kind of going like that. I love that. I think it's cool. I've never heard this piece before. I think it sounds so perfect for the scene. So John, thank you for playing along, submitting, for showing me new music that I've never heard of. And again, I mean, aren't you seeing that all of these are so like different movies? We're watching like 8 or 9 different movies. Okay, so because I like to play along, here's my score. So I didn't forget on purpose to score from the beginning. I wanted to show that you don't have to have music in the beginning or at the end. You can have it at the beginning. You can choose. Usually the film composer can choose whenever they want to put in the music. The director has the final say, but you can choose when you want it to start and when you want it to finish. So I thought, well, let's just have it quiet so we don't know. And then let's go into something that, again, doesn't work, but it made you think differently of the movie. That's Henry Mancini's famous song that we probably have all heard, which I love and could listen. It's Slow Hot Wind, or Lujan. Henry Mancini first came out in 1961. So this looks like maybe a commercial that he's advertising something. It looks sexy. There's something about this, and I feel like John's piece, that kind of makes it look less like warlike, less violence, and more almost sexy with, I don't know if it's, and I don't really understand. That's the feeling. It kind of, how he was moving just looked kind of cool and relaxing, and kind of like it's hot outside and kind of just, working out like in a kind of a different way. So in a way that's unlike war or anything. So I just thought that would be kind of such a different piece to throw in there. So great work, everybody. I love all of these things. It's literally like watching a different movie each time. Thank you for participating. I have so many more planned, and it's just going to be so much fun. So have a great weekend. Great job on the showcase today. That was fun. And I will see you Monday. Okay, bye.